the Acting Permanent Secretary for Agriculture, Dr. Vinesh Kumar, the District Governor nominee, Vinit Anand, the Commissioners Eastern, Varo Vitale, senior staff from Ministry of Agriculture, members of the Rotary Club of Suva, ladies and gentlemen, a Bulavanaka to you all. And also good to see my old friend, Mr. Lodia. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by thanking the Rotary Club for this very important gesture. Rotary clubs around Fiji are known to come in at a particular time that we need them most. As Ms. Nand alluded to earlier on, the country suffered or continues to suffer from natural disasters. Natural disasters has been affecting Fiji for a long period of time, but the frequency of natural disasters to Fiji and the Pacific has been increasing recently. Cyclone Ana and Yasa struck Fiji late 2020 and early 2021. Immediately when a natural disaster strikes the country, immediately after the disaster, government responds by providing the basic water, shelter, and food. In that equation, Ministry of Agriculture comes in to provide them with short-term crops, planting material for short-term crops. While we are doing that, we take stock take of the loss of output, the direct impact of the natural disaster from agriculture point of view. For the Eastern Division, the major damage from Ana and Yasa was Northern and Eastern Division. The Eastern Division, 1,190 farmers were affected with agriculture over 500 hectares of land, a total damage of about $9.5 million, equating to about, on an average, $7,800 per farmer. Those of us who know about Eastern Division, this average damage per farmer is no mean amount. It's substantial. When a farm household sustains that level of damage, there could be intergenerational effect of poverty. Poverty can affect them, the various generations. And therefore, we need to make interventions at different levels. Now, government continues and will continue to play its role in terms of ensuring that we all grow together. There are certain types of natural disaster whose effect, we know which area it'll have. For example, flood. But there are certain types of natural disaster we don't know which area will be affected. For example, cyclones. Despite that, through NDMO, through Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development, we continue to up our guard so that we can respond to these natural disasters immediately. But we also need to build resilience so that two things happen. One is the impact of the natural disaster is very low. Secondly, the ability of that particular affected parties in that particular area to bounce back very quickly in a very short period of time. So continuously government makes interventions to ensure that we build resilience amongst our communities throughout Fiji, so that any shocks, whether it's natural disaster or any other shock, policy shock as well, will have minimal impact or ability for the area and the affected parties to bounce back quickly is there. So ladies and gentlemen, apart from our support, we look forward to other players coming into the equation to assist us in building resilience and assisting the communities. As I said, that the impact of the natural disaster could be intergenerational. So Rotary has been one of those, partners of the government for a long period of time, totally apolitical. And I want to today publicly acknowledge on behalf of government the support of Rotary Fiji and the different Rotary clubs to assist us in ensuring that all of us grow together. Sometimes what happens is that when natural disasters strike in the periphery, their recovery and growth is quite severely affected. And the growth and development that we would want to have gets skewed. And the center gets more attention, more resources, and there is an unequal development. So when NGO partners come in, from other development partners come in, it assists us in leveling the growth, and so that we all can grow together. And any surplus that is created in the center is distributed evenly. So today I am again, I'm sure the other ministers have seen and appreciated your programs of the support. I again join them in receiving the support from the Rotary Club in assisting our farmers in the Eastern Division. I note the value of the support is $54,000, which includes 7 farmhouse kits along with 7 mini solar system, which will be for Koro Island agriculture cluster groups, and 1 Dalo nursery to Koro youth group. Number 2, 1 rotavator, vegetable seedlings and cover cuttings to Lakemba youth group. 3, 1 solar system and other farming equipment to the Didia organic cluster women's group. Number 4, cover planting materials to Banua Balabu youth cluster. And number 5, 7 chainsaws, 1 mini solar system that can power light, radio and charge phone with a cost of about $450 per unit to Kandavu Agriculture Office, where farmers will be assisted from this particular office. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I alluded to earlier on, this support is channeled towards the most deserving area, sometimes often forgotten. So while we continue to assist rural and maritime farmers and farm households, sometimes resources are a bit limited, and that in that way some people, some households do get left out. So when we have development partners coming in, joining us, we really appreciate, because we are able to even out the growth and development of these households, and it'll have national impact in terms of growing agriculture. As you know, over the last 2 years, we have made substantial gain in terms of growing agriculture, in particularly commercial agriculture. And now with supply chains well developed, the Maritime Division is playing an important role in assisting us in growing our export sector. Over the period 2019-2020, we got agricultural exports grew, fresh produce and chilled grew by, in terms of volume, 16% and value 25%. Over the 6 months this year compared to 6 months last year, our agricultural exports, fresh and chilled produce, grew by 8.6%. It's a remarkable achievement given the impediments we have seen over the COVID-19 period from last year. We continue to push beyond boundaries, because we are thinking beyond textbook. So I really appreciate the support given by Rotary today, here today, and we want to assure you that this will be put to great use, not only in terms of securing these rural maritime households with regard to food and nutrition, but also mobilizing the rural farmers and households to support our national objective of growing agriculture at commercial level and also growing our agriculture exports. We basically have exceeded the 100 million mark in terms of export of agricultural produce, our sugar exports. So we are very excited about continually pushing agriculture beyond boundaries. So once again, President and members of the Rotary Club, Ms. Nan, thank you very much. And we're very excited. And the feedback we're getting from our Eastern Division office is that farmers are looking forward to this support. Thank you.
Mahendra Reddy, the Acting Permanent Secretary for Agriculture, Dr. Vinesh Kumar, Mr. Varo Vitale, Commissioner Eastern, Mr. Nimilote Wangabada, the Senior Agriculture Officer, staff of Ministry of Agriculture, fellow Rotarians. It's a pleasure today to speak on this occasion, to hand over the items to farmers in the islands of Lau, Kandavu and Koro through the Ministry of Agriculture. Cyclone Harold caused significant devastation in the Pacific, including remote areas of Fiji in April 2020. Rotary, as the first responders, activated its emergency response kits and provided over $0.5 million worth of assistance to the people of Fiji residing in the Western and Central Divisions who had their houses destroyed during Tropical Cyclone Harold. This was the provision of ERKs, the emergency response kits, which contain the assistance for families that can sustain them for over a week if their houses have been destroyed. This was a coordinated response led by the Rotarians in Fiji, closely working with the Rotary New Zealand World Community Service, the New Zealand Government's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade through its High Commission in Suva, and Aquabox in Australia. These were distributed through the Commissioner Western's office in Lautoka for damages in the Asawa Group of Islands, Malolo Island, and the rest of the Western Division, some in the Central Division, and a further distribution to Vatulele and Benga. Another project was undertaken by the Rotary Club of Lambasa to repair or provide roofs to the people in Lambasa. This club has so far assisted with roofs valued at around $150,000, and the project is still ongoing. The Rotary Club of Suva decided to assist in an area where assistance was not forthcoming at that time. And following discussions with the National Disaster Management Office, the NDMO, it was identified that the agricultural sector had also been badly impacted. The initial reports suggested that the Eastern Division agriculture sector had been affected, and between securing funds and providing assistance, TC Yasa also hit Fiji. We held meetings with the Ministry of Agriculture to discuss the areas of support and devise a plan of action, as the affected areas were all maritime provinces and districts of Lau, Kandavu, and Koro. The agricultural officers in these maritime areas were asked to provide us a matrix containing likely interventions that had been identified. The required matrix was provided to the Rotary Club of Suva, and 14 projects were approved for these 3 island farmers. The Rotary Club of Suva secured $53,000 through its Rotary International Disaster Grant. The Ministry of Agriculture assisted us in securing quotations for the various farming and other equipment, livestock, and plant cuttings and tops. The items secured through the assistance will be handed over to the farmers by the Ministry of Agriculture through its agricultural officers on the islands on behalf of Rotary. As we are completing this project, it would be remiss of me not to mention the assistance that Rotary Fiji has been providing to Fiji as part of its COVID assistance program. At the moment, Rotary Fiji, which is made up of 8 Rotary clubs in Fiji, with 3 clubs in Suva, and because the pandemic was more prevalent in Viti level, the 3 Suva clubs took on the lead role on this. So the Rotary Club of Suva East is currently providing food assistance. The Rotary Club of Suva East and Rotary Club of Suva are working on the PPEs, basically masks and hand sanitizers. The Rotary Club of Suva Peninsula Sunset is providing baby essentials, and the Rotary Club of Suva is providing assistance to COVID-positive mums and newborns. So far, we have, since Rotary started to provide its assistance, Rotary Fiji has delivered $2.4 million worth of assistance in Fiji, and these were through various projects, through partnerships and donations. For food, we have assisted with about $170,000. Masks, about $1.9 million. We had 3 containers, 20-foot and 40-foot containers, that were provided to Rotary for distribution of the masks. We are helping with the baby essentials, so people in all areas, remote, urban, rural, who need assistance with babies. We are providing them baby essentials, and so far we have provided them about $27,000 worth of assistance. The assistance to the mums and newborns, this is through the Ministry of Health. These are the women who are currently in isolation or isolating at home, and we are assisting them to the tune of about $23,000. These projects are all ongoing, and related to these, we had a lot of other projects that came in. For instance, the Ministry of Health requested us for some instant hot water showers. We provided 6 to the Ministry of Health. We provided a washing machine and a dryer to the isolation ward in the Nosori Maternity Hospital. We are assisting with some sheets and linen. There were some caution tapes that the Rotary Club of Suva assisted the Ministry of Health with. So these are sort of assistance that come our way as and when we are helping the people of Fiji. As I had mentioned before, these projects are ongoing, and we will be able to know towards the end of this project what the total worth of the assistance is, but we are still receiving a lot of assistance from Rotary clubs in New Zealand, in Australia, in Hawaii, and a lot of personal donations are coming in through the Rotary Club, and at the moment, I think we are still receiving some assistance from the clubs in Australia and New Zealand through our district. So, Honourable Minister, on behalf of Rotary Fiji, we would like to thank you for your valuable time today to be with us at the handover of these items to the farmers in Kandavu, Lau and Koro through the Ministry of Agriculture. We look forward to seeing the pictures of these handovers as they are done in the islands, so that we can report back to our donors as well and show them the work that has been done in Fiji. So, vinaka wakalevu.